What's on the playlist, baby? What's on the playlist, baby? What's on the playlist, baby? What's on the playlist?
Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Welcome back to What's on the Playlist, the podcast that helps you make sense of music, weddings, and everything in between. My name is Chris Romero.
My name is Tony Pacheco.
And what's up, y'all? It's Victoria.
Yeah, and today we are talking about one of the biggest misconceptions that couples have when planning their wedding, thinking that a Spotify playlist is all you need.
Yep.
We're excited to get into it and talk with you about that. So that's the topic of the day. But you know how we do it. First, before we get into that, let's chat about our events that we've had recently.
Yeah. Let's see. So first off, well, it's been a little while since we were on the pod. So I'm trying to think of like.
That's right. I replaced you too, Ashana, last week.
Yeah, I know.
It was a good episode. I really liked it.
Yeah.
It was a fun, insightful episode.
It was fun.
Business owners.
Yeah, I hope you business peeps out there enjoyed that one. We definitely had a good time with that. We're gonna have her back on because, I mean, that whole topic and what she's doing with buying and selling businesses. I think we could run another 2 or 3 episodes with that. So
Nice.
Definitely, yeah.
looking forward to it.
That's cool. No, yeah. So I was, for Memorial Day weekend, had a 4-day weekend where it was Albuquerque Academy, a school dance on Thursday, private pool party on Friday, and then a doubleheader wedding where, here, get this, it was in the same venue for both days.
Ooh,
In the
fire.
right? In the 10 years that I've been doing this,
That's a dream.
that's a dream. I got to do it last year because we did an Indian style wedding where they did the I don't know if it's not the barat, it's the day before party,
Yeah.
and so
Sangeet.
Sangeet, that's it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
And so we did that, and then I was like, well, the wedding's tomorrow. Can I just leave my gear here? And sure, they were down.
Nice.
But for this past weekend, I was at La Fonda, and it's just lucky, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They book you. They're like, oh, my wedding's at La Fonda and La Terraza, and then you find out again it's in the same space, and you're like, oh, cool. And then I reached out to the venue, and the coordinator was like, you know what? We don't have any events that morning. You're more than welcome to leave your gear.
Nice.
I thought it was crazy that they potentially could sell an event
yeah.
that morning,
Yep.
and have like some kind of brunch or something. I don't know.
Definitely.
But
yeah.
those were really, really fun events, just overall successful weddings
Yeah.
and just a good long weekend. And then this past weekend, I did Marble Downtown Saturday, which was
Nice.
fun. And then Sandia pool parties.
Yes, sir. How was that?
That was a really good
Yeah,
time
those
too.
are always fun.
They're a vibe
Yeah.
because you're just feeding vibes.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
you got people in the pool going, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
I'm going to be there next Sunday, and then this is the Sunday I'm inviting all of my family and
Nice.
friends. We're going to go in on a big old cabana, and it'll be fun.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
so exciting. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
and I'll give shouts to RNS DJs, Rico
Yes.
Rage over there.
Yes.
I know
Rushing it.
Victoria's been working with him, for since last year, 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah.
Rico's good peeps, man.
Definitely.
Actually,
Yeah.
all those dudes. I've met a few of them, and actually, I just met Rico. It was a few months ago.
Yeah.
You were playing over there at Sandia, and him and I. We, I guess, first met kind of streaming during COVID.
Nice.
And it's during that time when a lot of us DJs were getting on Twitch, and we were just like following each other, and we'd watch each other's shows and stuff. And totally cool dude. Like all those guys are awesome. So I love it when we get to kind of collaborate.
Yeah, it's all about
Definitely.
supporting each other
Yeah.
and like the understanding. Like, there's so many events going on. I just literally asked him. I was like, "Hey, if you've got anything, I would love some more opportunity." And sure enough, on a Sunday, got some
Yeah.
pool parties.
Exactly.
Oh, great! I got them
Yeah.
open. Let's go for it. And so that really helped out. And yeah, what they're doing over there is just a really, really cool environment in
Yeah.
terms of like what they're trying to create at Sandia, which I think is fun. And so,
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Did you? What
what'd you
you
have?
been up
Let's
to,
go
Victoria?
to Memorial.
Oh yeah. So I had 5 events in the total of a week.
There you go.
Dang.
Love that.
baby.
Yeah.
That was from Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, Memorial, 2 back-to-backers. Then I did like a pop-up event and then another double. So that was cool. Lots of private events. All 4 of the double headers were just graduation parties type
Nice.
stuff down south. And then the pop-up event was at that bar that I DJ at, Little Toad Creek in Silver City.
Yes.
You know, I was bored that week. I had stayed in Silver the whole week. I was like, let me message them and see if they want to just do something. And they did, and we actually had a really good turnout.
Nice.
So it was really, really fun. I got to play, like, usually when I play over there, it's usually a later vibe, so it's a lot of hip hop, a lot of R&B, a lot of that stuff. And then for this event, it was more like house music, super vibey remixes and stuff like that. So it was nice for me to just kind of like.
When was this one?
That was that Thursday after Memorial.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had 2 Memorial weekend.
Uh-huh.
And then that next week on Thursday had that one, and then after that.
Nice.
So
that was
about a
this
week.
past Thursday,
Yep,
right?
This past
okay,
Thursday,
yeah.
yep.
What time of day was it? Was that a day show?
We went from 8 to 10, so it was a night
Sun
show.
was down,
Sun
but
was
even
down,
then,
yeah.
vibes were
Yeah, and it was
unique.
really cool. And I feel like we kind of got lucky too, because it just so happened that one of the employees that has worked there or previously worked there, I can't remember if she's still there, but she was getting married that next day. So they had like a big bridal thing for her. So they were just like, "Oh my God, we can't believe you're
bachelorette
here!"
party.
Yes, they were like, "This is so perfect."
Perfect pregame.
It was so perfect.
Yeah, and you're done at 10.
Yep.
So they're
Yep.
not going crazy before
Yeah.
the night before the wedding.
Exactly. It was
Awesome.
a quick 2-hour set. I set up some of my tube lighting. We did like the table like really cool with like greenery and moss and that kind of stuff. Like
Definitely.
just because we were outside, doing something different. Usually I take like my video booth and have all this like crazy stuff. And like for this one, we wanted to keep it like super minimal because it
Less
was
is
outside.
more.
Yeah, and it was really more. It would look so good out there. It was really,
Nice.
really cool. So
That's cool.
that was fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it was just a lot of events, a lot of music, a lot of standing on my feet.
A lot of lower back pain.
Yep, exactly. When you said about the venues, you having 2 at the same venue.
Yeah.
So I actually had the same thing happen, but I'm an idiot and I thought that the venue was elsewhere, and
Oh, no.
I went, got all my stuff at like midnight. We finally started. We took everything down. It was probably like 1:30 at that point.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, I was like, "We're at the exact same place."
You look at it and
I
you're
could
like,
have
hold
left
up.
everything there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was tough because that never happens. When you were saying how
Yeah.
rare that is,
It
that never
doesn't
happens, and I
happen.
was like, wow, I'm such an idiot.
I think there's in the chaos of 5 events in a week and
Yeah.
trying to manage all of this social promotion, video, you have your
Yep.
media company. A venue isn't always at the top of your list because you know you're already booked, you know it's there.
Exactly.
And then you look at it and then you're like, "Oh, you know what
and
I mean?"
And I always like to like triple check everything, and like
Yeah,
that
it's
week
one
I
of those
just
times.
it
You're
slipped my
human.
mind. I
Slip
was
the
like, oh
cracks.
my God,
Yeah.
why? So but yeah, that's these past weekends, that's the last of those double headers, which it's fun and it's just like crazy, but like the rest and everything after is like brutal. Like I just want to sleep for days, be off my feet, just
Yeah.
doing nothing. So
Yeah, I don't even do doubles anymore.
Yeah,
You get once you hit 40, doubles are no longer.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can definitely we can still do them, right?
Yeah.
Definitely still possible. But what I'm really appreciating more and more is like at least just one wedding a weekend, so I don't get like mixed up and like crossed on like
Yeah.
names.
yeah.
That's
Overall, like, oh yeah, this
You can just
couple is going to do
focus.
grand intro into first dance, and this couple is going to do grand intro into a blessing, and just like all those little details, making sure like it's like you're locked in on one. You don't even
Yes.
think about Sunday. You don't even know their names.
Exactly.
And then the same thing happens on the next day, and you
And
switch it. But it's,
every single time, right? You have a double. Their names all like start with J.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Today's Jackie and Jeff. Tomorrow's Jesse and Janet.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly. Yeah,
something
you're
like
like, oh
that.
my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely. Yeah, and even like for me, like we do like the custom monogram for whichever school they graduated from, and then all my parties,
managing all
it
that
was
media.
like multiple people. So it was like this one, Kiana's, Ariel's, this, you know what I mean? It was just so much information. I was just overloaded, and I was really sad about it because I was like, damn, we could have left everything there.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it
that's
happens.
nice. And then Chris, what did you have?
Yeah, I'm looking back at my calendar. I didn't have any events last week. I did have one the week before. Last week was kind of nice. My son, Jonas, who helps us out with events, he graduated high school, so that was kind of
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, baby.
And then that night, we actually went to it wasn't the Savannah Bananas playing, but it was the Savannah Bananas,
I had a double header and I got invited. Had to miss.
Yeah, the party animals, right?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah,
party
yeah.
animals, and
I heard the game was
Texas.
electric.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we went to the Savannah Bananas last year when they came. It's always a good time, so that was cool. But I did have an event, the week before that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you guys a little bit about it.
Yeah,
so
tell us.
I'm not going to name the venue because I don't want to out them like this. But it was kind of interesting, just like the whole, I don't know, the mojo and everything kind of surrounding it, right?
Yeah.
So go into this space, and I'll tell you this: it's not like your typical hotel ballroom.
Yes.
And we've got a lot of different places that are kind of like smaller boutique venue types, that are like farms or like smaller spaces, right?
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
here in Albuquerque. So this was like one of those types of places, more of like a private event space type. But anyways, get there and immediately they come up to me to let me know that, hey, the venue coordinator, I guess, she goes, I'm just gonna tell you the rules, and she says, so first of all, there's no subs allowed. And second, we have, the decibel reader over here, and it's got to stay underneath this. She's like, but my husband's going to come in after a while. He works here, and we're going to do a full sound check to make sure that we're within the limits. And
Nice.
so,
it seems pretty
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah.
right?
standard,
Okay.
I was like, all
Great.
right,
Standard
yeah,
stuff.
cool. No
Yeah.
problem.
I'd be like, great, a decibel reader. That's like, I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
No,
'cause
for
I've
sure.
definitely
For sure.
had those instances
Yeah.
where you have one. So.
Yeah.
it was no problem. And I told her, and just to let you know, I'm using subs. Like, and
That's your standard setup for you. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty standard.
But this is like the thing. So I think these coordinators or these places, they first of all, you already know they've had bad experiences with previous DJs, right?
Yep.
And so that's the
Yeah.
first and foremost. They're already on the defensive with anybody that comes in their space.
Exactly.
And then they're uneducated and they don't understand like just science. I mean,
Exactly.
it's like
Yeah.
every single song has low end frequencies.
Yep.
Like, and that's
like
really
even just a basic speaker is going to have some kind of
yeah.
thump in
Thump,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Well, and it's not even about thumping, right? And that's what I was trying to tell her. Like, look, it's more about having more well-rounded
Yes.
sound.
Yes.
You know,
it's true.
and that's what we're looking
You're
for.
going to know when a song has no bass or low bass, and it just doesn't sound right.
If you take out
I
all the
agree.
bass,
Yep.
you have nothing but a shallow, tinny,
Yep.
Yeah.
sounding music. Like it
Yep.
sounds terrible.
Yep.
Nothing but highs and mids and no low end.
No.
So I told her, I was like, look, the subs aren't for this to thump your room to death and to like
Exactly.
make your neighbors pissed off.
Yeah.
It's to really round out the sound. And then I told her that for my tops to work, I have to use the subs, right? And just kind of went with that route. So then, no, not a problem. And then husband comes in, we
Yeah.
do a sound check, and he keeps telling me, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. And we get to like the top end, and I told him, we're not going to get anywhere close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
It was
yeah.
super loud. And I was like, we're good. And he was like, all right, yeah, perfect. And I was like, there's no way. And this wedding, I think, had about 75 to 100 people. It was like not super large. The space is really tight and small.
Yep.
And there was just no need to, with the music that they were
It would be
looking to play.
obnoxious at that point,
Yeah,
right?
it's overkill.
Yeah,
Getting
overkill.
crazy.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah. So I'm 3 songs in, right? I'm just getting warmed up. And with this group, I'm kind of starting with the classics. So I'm literally playing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Your typical
Yeah.
rate
Great wedding song.
Yep.
It's going to hit.
Get everyone jumping.
Yeah.
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 Typical rage.
And
It does get people jumping.
It really
it's
does.
a recognizable
It
song. You
does.
throw it over a
Yeah.
nice backbeat. It's going to hit.
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm playing Ain't No Mountain High Enough. And I think it was maybe the property owner or one of the owners, somebody there comes up to me.
This
and-
was somebody who you hadn't interacted with.
no, I
yet.
hadn't interacted with him at all.
Interesting.
And comes up and starts telling me that I'm across the other side of the property and I can't hear any of the lyrics. All I hear is bass.
Oh, geez.
And I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, do you want to hear the lyrics
Yes.
across? And well, in my mind, I'm saying,
Of course.
you want to hear the
yeah.
lyrics across the property? Like,
Yeah.
you're not like, no.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, and in my mind, my scientific mind, like, dude, like sound, the low end frequencies travel louder. Like that's all you're gonna hear, like anywhere. And we
Yeah.
were not thumping. Like, again, Ain't No Mountain High
yeah.
enough.
Come on. Yeah.
Like, and so, anyways, I pretended like I was turning some knobs underneath. All right, yeah, let me turn it back a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, this guy's like chatting. Like, he's right in front of the speaker, because I had a speaker right next to me, like a stack. And he's right in front of the speaker. We can hear each other perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's talking to me,
Yeah.
right? And not like yelling or screaming. Yeah. And I'm just like, do you have any idea like what you're kind of saying right now? And like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to argue, not trying to start fights and argument and just, appease him. All right, whatever. Pretend like I was turning some knobs. Didn't hear from him the rest of the night.
That's good.
And it was cool. But, it's just like, there's parts of me that just, I just wish people were a little bit more educated when it comes to like actual music and sound and how things work and why you use the tools that you use. Speakers are speakers. Some focus and concentrate on the low end. And that's so that way my tops don't have to work as hard. There's a lot of things that are involved with that. And at the end of the day, I have a volume knob.
Yeah.
That literally I can control the volume levels, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then like also at that point, like if you're going to book out this venue for weddings that are going to have either some kind of entertainment, you are expected that they are going to bring what they need to provide that. So it's kind of like at the same time, like, why are you booking out this venue if you don't want certain things and you can't do this and you can't do that?
I was asking the exact same thing.
So interesting.
You advertise yourself as an event space, right? For people to come and celebrate. And yet you have restrictions. So the decibel thing, I'm it wasn't even a problem. In fact, when we got to that high end, I was like, oh, we're not even going to touch this. That's fine.
Yeah.
But then to come in when I'm not even close to that and to start complaining and then trying to restrict your weddings and your parties and your celebrations, it's like, it's I don't know, left a sour taste in my mouth.
Well, I feel like he needs to like have a conversation with the gentleman who you were working with the decibel reader and the other event coordinator there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then that person comes and talks to you and tells you to turn it down, because then they're going to mitigate that.
Yes, and I agree with that. Yeah, I feel like it kind of creates letting these people who are on the property kind of just walk into this wedding and just like strictly not attack you, obviously, but like be so comfortable to just go tell you something. Like, there, you should have that also on lock as well. Like, if you have any issues with anything that's going on, contact so and so. We'll take care of it, rather than just like, you just barge into this wedding that you don't know these people and you're just doing whatever you want, telling the DJ stuff. It's like kind of interesting.
So it just, at the end of the day, for me, it leaves a little sour taste in my mouth, right? And then, so here's the other thing. All of us in the industry, we deal with clients and couples, and I'm honestly, like, I'm very reluctant to take any more events at this event space now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You know what? If we can't go over there and we can't party and we can't turn up, that's not
what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, and it's just, we're not the guys probably for you, because usually the couples that hire us, that's what they are looking for, and that's what they want.
Yeah.
And so, if you're, and I don't know, this venue might inform couples ahead of time, hey, we have sound restrictions here, and and at that point, yes, you are making a choice to still use that space. You just have to you have to understand and know. And so for couples, I think if I'm giving you any advice, or if there's any, like, kind of the moral of the story is, if you are using kind of like a boutique event space, a private event space, or something like that, like these farms, like the Los Poblanos, the Old Town Farms, the
like a lot of
the
venues
Casa
that
Rodeñas,
or like Nature Point, a lot of places that have sound restrictions.
Exactly.
And so that's what I was going to say.
Or like homes.
Ask if they've got sound restrictions. Ask what they are. And then you need to probably talk with your DJ or a band. Could be even worse, right? If you're hiring a band.
Yeah.
It'd be just because I would hate for you to show up on your wedding day expecting one thing, and then we are restricted, because at the end of the day, we have to play by house rules.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going to always defer to the venue and house rules. We're in their house.
Yeah.
And that's what I have to go by.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it all falls on you if you don't, right?
That's
it
true.
all falls on, well, we hired so and so and they were disrespectful and they didn't
I would just hate for the expectations to not be met, right?
Exactly.
And that's like, man, we really hired you guys because we thought this and we thought that, and when we can do that, it's just I can't do it here.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was kind of like, I don't know, I felt a little bit, like I said, the DJ mojo gets thrown off a little bit, right?
Definitely, that's what I
Especially
was
when you
gonna say.
start a
Now
night.
it's all you're
Yeah.
thinking. Is this too loud?
Yeah,
You're in
you're
your head
right.
all day.
You're on pins and needles.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like,
you're 3 songs in.
Yes.
literally, I'm like, oh my God, ain't no
Yeah.
mountain high enough. I still gonna get to Usher and
Right.
and
We haven't even
Flo
touched
Rida.
Pitbull yet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
just
no, that's
too funny.
definitely the worst. Yeah.
So, but all in all, I'll say this, okay? The night went awesome. I still played Pitbull, all that
There you go.
stuff.
Nice.
I was
yeah.
very aware of it, pulled off the bass a little bit, even more than what I had already done. Just, this wasn't a crowd that was going like 10 rager Las Vegas
Yeah.
Sure,
nightclub
yeah.
stuff. It was, it was pretty mellow, and
Definitely.
it was great. So
Nice.
it was fine.
At
But
the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Is the
Exactly.
client being happy.
Yeah.
so
Nice.
okay, so let's get into our topic
Let's
of the
do
day
it.
here. So in this episode, we are breaking down the key moments of your wedding: ceremony, cocktail hour, grand entrance, first dance, open
Mhm.
dance floor, and showing you how the music can actually tell your story. So we'll also share what to do when you're stuck, how to mix in culture and tradition, and of course, what not to do when working with your DJ. Hint, hint, like maybe sending them a 200 song must playlist. All right.
Yep.
So if
Yeah.
you're planning a wedding or if you're helping somebody that is, this episode is definitely going to help you from, just a playlist to a full-on experience. So
Definitely.
so let's chat about it a little bit. The myth of the perfect playlist. So if you think a 5-hour Spotify playlist is all you need, you might be missing the point, right?
Yeah, definitely missing the point.
So let's talk a little bit about why having a curated music or why having curated music is like it's different than strategic music.
Well, when you're like, to me, like, yes, of course, you can always do your 500 song Spotify playlist.
Right.
Totally cool. But in that same realm, also, if you play that front to back, some things might work and some things might not work.
Mhm.
And that's the difference right there. When you have, kind of a DJ and, we're looking at your list and saying, well, for this crowd right now, these songs will work. Maybe these will work later and this and that. And we're able to kind of pivot and do what we need to do in terms of that. But when you're playing a playlist front to back of a bunch of songs, well, one, the mixing, not there.
Right.
But just being able to switch the vibes, switch the
Real time, yeah.
real time
Yeah, like-
crowd reading and
Mhm.
seeing what people are reacting to or not reacting to, which I think is more important.
Oh yeah.
So
That's
yeah.
a big thing I've learned in like DJ sets or like curating these things is you get all excited, you make your crate, it's so fun, you're ready to go, and then no one's reacting to your kind of like set list.
Yeah, exactly.
So then you're like, okay, well I have to pivot in real time. They liked Nelly, so let me throw in another Nelly song, and
Exactly.
that's where it's
yeah.
it's a lot more valuable to have that real time person. I do think Spotify has a lot of good tools in terms of like playlist curation and song suggestions. When you're trying to create a certain type of vibe and then they give you 3 artists, you can throw 3 of those artists in like a top or like their top 3 songs and
Yeah.
then go to song suggestions, and then it'll give you songs that you're like, oh, I didn't even think of that. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
no,
right?
definitely.
So
Yeah.
that's where it can really be beneficial. But yeah, other than that, I feel like it's
And I think that's the heart of it, right? Is that the DJ's real job is to read the room, is
Yep.
to lead the journey, guide the journey,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
And it's going to be different from night to night. And the problem with, I think, taking a playlist and playing it from top to bottom is like that playlist may or may not work that night.
Yep.
And you cannot take the same playlist and play that for night 2, for next week's wedding. And I just think that's the real value of what a DJ brings to the table, right? Is you got both of you have just said it. We're able to pivot. We can read. We can make
Yep.
on the spot decisions. I can say, oh, these 2 songs actually would make a great mashup together.
Yep.
Your Spotify list
exactly.
can't do that.
Exactly.
that's my favorite. When I'm going through their sets or their song requests, I'm like, oh, There we go. I got
Yeah,
a mashup of those
definitely.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I think you're right in that Spotify is great for the idea generation,
two.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what's cool too, because you're right. Love to take a 3-song list or 2 or 3 tracks,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, like give me some more that are like this, and it might be like
Exactly.
yacht rock vibes, and I'm like, boom, there's 15 different tracks that I can put into a cocktail hour. And mix these in some way. But I'm going to
Yeah.
still mix and read the room, right?
Yeah.
Like if
Definitely.
I'm even just doing cocktail hour, I'm not going to play that list straight from top to bottom. The BPMs might not match. The key might not match. This song may not go good with this other song. So that's where having that
Yeah.
experience.
Someone who has like a music mindset. and
Definitely,
Kind of
yeah.
know how to organize the music.
Yeah, and
a
it can be
little more.
used as a tool because a lot of couples don't know where to start. They
Right.
don't know where to begin as far as like, what do I need for the ceremony? What do I need for the cocktail hour? What do I need for
Yeah.
this and for that? And that's like a really good starting point for them to like, even me. Sometimes when I want to switch things up for cocktail, we'll go on Spotify and see like what everybody's playing for 2024 or 2023 for that year, now
Right.
2025, and it's like very helpful to have Spotify to get you started in thinking of ideas, but not to fully rely on it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's I think that's a good segue, and let's go through the different stages of a wedding for us. So let's start with the ceremony and
Yeah.
ceremony soundtracking. So let's talk a little bit about walking down the aisle, an emotional tone versus
What about
tradition.
before that?
Yeah, we can I mean
Yeah.
we can even
When
go
guests
before that.
walk into the space,
Yep.
So
what does
let's-
it sound like when they walk in?
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So I call that the pre-ceremony.
Ceremony, yeah,
And this is going to be the time when your guests are arriving, right?
It's like
Yep.
30 minutes before.
exactly.
Typically about a half hour before. And that's one of the conversations I always have with my couples. What type of vibe do you want,
I
right?
try to paint the picture, right?
Exactly.
Like, okay, your guests are walking in, they see the church at La Fonda. What is being played in the background? And sometimes they're like, oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
Okay, is it Spanish guitar? Is
Yeah.
it acoustic piano? And
Is
start-
it
Exactly.
Beethoven?
is it bass?
Exactly.
Is it Adele?
Is it
Yeah.
Star Wars? Is it
Yeah.
popular covers of your favorite songs, but in a violin way?
Exactly.
Right? And then they're like, oh,
cool,
right?
yep.
Yeah. And that's where I think, again, having an expert
Exactly.
give you those things. But yeah, these are, I think, questions that you want to ask yourself when you are planning is like, what kind of vibe do I want to create?
Yep.
Is it more lyrical? Is it less lyrical?
Mm-hmm.
What type of instruments are being played? That is a good start. I
Right.
guess.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, and it really is, with music, it's a play on emotions.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. So it's how you want people to feel when they're seeing that church.
Mhm.
How you want people to feel when they're seeing that arch where you guys are going to stand. And it really, I have seen some couples that really want to keep it classical. They want just, very traditional wedding songs. And then I've seen couples where they do like to play like violin or piano remixes of popular songs,
Yep.
which also is like a really cool thing. My wedding in Taos did that, and it was really cool seeing like everyone that was sitting down like, is this Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter?
Yeah.
Is this song? Like, they were really into it, which is nice because they weren't just tuning it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't just background. It was actually creating conversation with everybody that was around.
Gives the
So-
wedding some like taste. You know
It
what I mean?
does.
And this is going to be your guest's first impression
Yeah.
of the day, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So I think it's good to think of it in that way of, what is my first impression that I want my guest to feel
Yep.
today?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about like walking down the aisle with music with that,
Yeah.
because I think this is where I feel like lately I've seen more couples get away from like a lot of the traditional types of music,
Yep.
and they're having a little bit of fun with it, right? Like as far as like sometimes having music with lyrics and it being maybe a contemporary song or
Yeah.
something like that.
I
Yeah.
like it when they switch it up and do like "Let's Get Married," Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
Because it's a
Just
beautiful
fun
moment,
song, yeah.
and then it's like boom, boom,
Boom.
and
Yeah.
it hits, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh!"
Yeah.
Or one thing I've loved too, I've seen a few times, is like the shot boys, or the drink girls. They come
Yeah.
in on like a rolling cart, and they pull shots out of their fanny pack, or they have like a signature cocktail, and it's like a higher energy moment, and then it
Yes.
evolves into like
exactly.
a soft, elegant thing. I think that's super cool.
Yeah, something my couple did too in Taos as well a couple weeks ago that I really liked. When she walked down the aisle, it was a no lyrics. It was like a classical version of Home, let me go home, that song.
Yes.
And then after they kiss, they announce them Mr. and Mrs. Then I played the real version of
Nice.
that song.
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool
Like
because
that.
it kind of like tied in.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
there at the end, we kind of brought in the real song as people exited. So it was really cool. It was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Let's-
I loved that.
And let's talk about exit music, because
Yeah.
I think that's a
That's a great example of like how you can tie it all together.
right.
Exactly.
And I think I feel like in even just the last 10 to 15 years, I've seen that couples want to exit after they've just been, we now turn around and pronounce you for the first time, the brand new Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, right?
Mhm.
And then you hit them with like a banger basically that they're walking
Yeah.
out to, right?
Yep.
Or at least something that's more high energy.
Yes.
I mean, I see a lot of like signed, sealed, delivered, you
Yeah.
make my dreams come true, stuff
Yeah.
like that. That's just like more high energy, but yeah.
Which is cool. I feel like that
like
really sets the tone
Yeah.
for later.
We're gonna have fun.
And that's me, and I know you guys do this too. We really talk to our couples about setting the tone.
Mhm.
Like if you got a party crowd, you guys love to party, let's really set the tone, with cocktail hour or with your grand entrance song, things where we could really create high energy for later where they're like, oh, we want more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You can tell too when those
Yeah.
when those crowds are high energy crowds or the wedding party's a high energy
Yep.
wedding party. You're like, okay, we're gonna have some fun tonight. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
definitely.
And I think you're going to see a theme here, with all of these as we start going through them, because we're going to talk about cocktail hour next and dinner vibes, But basically, I think what we would all suggest is to do you, right? Do what makes it.
Exactly.
Pick
There
the
is
music
no
and
wrong
the,
answer,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the songs that you and your fiance are totally into, what gets you hype, what gets you feeling good. And so, like, I think an exit song needs to be, what is it that you want to walk out to, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever messed around with like friends and you ask them, "What's your walk up?" Walk up.
We
music.
just had to.
Like, yeah.
So Cinder's doing kickball, and we had to figure out her walk up
Right.
for kickball.
That's what, and that's
See,
what
that's fun.
That's what
yeah.
it stems from is baseball. The
Yeah.
Yep.
batter's coming up. What's
Yeah.
the music
Exactly.
that's playing for
Mhm.
you?
Yep.
All right, you just got married. What's the music you're walking out of the
Exactly.
the church to? And so
And you're right. It's a great way to like have representation or like
Yep.
a great way to represent yourself and not have like this expectation of like, oh, it has to be the biggest party song. You do want something higher energy.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you can pick whatever you want and everyone's going to react because you just got married.
Exactly.
so
right.
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Definitely.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel too like going back to like making sure you pick what's for you. Like if you like, kind of more mellow music as well, add those in for dinner.
Yeah.
Add those in there and kind of like be able to put your style in it in different places where it works, right?
Exactly.
Opposed to like, can you play this when we have open dancing and it completely kills your dance floor? There's ways that we can incorporate, your songs that you really, really like that might not be as high energy as the other ones. So yeah, I would definitely say that too, kind of think of where some songs might work.
Absolutely. So that takes us into, let's talk a little about that. So next, typically in the order of events is cocktail hour.
Yep.
So let's talk about cocktail vibes and what we're seeing and some things for our couples to think about when they are curating this list, because I feel like cocktail and dinner, and we'll get into dinner in just a minute too, but I feel like these are the opportunities for a couple to really have some control over this list.
Yes.
I'm not saying you need to give me the whole cocktail hour list, but I think if, just like you just said, Victoria, if you've got some eclectic taste in music, some songs that maybe you like yacht rock vibes, but that's not stuff we're typically going to play during peak hour open dancing.
You don't feel
right?
confident that your guests are going to dance to it, but you love this
Exactly.
music.
Right. Like now cocktail is a great time to throw
Oh, yeah.
that stuff in,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and I'm looking at a list right now from a wedding that I did, and like just kind of just different stuff, right? Like the Rolling Stones, a little bit of slower Fleetwood Mac on here is what I'm
Yeah.
seeing.
I've seen definitely a trend of Fleetwood
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
this last
Definitely.
couple of years.
A little bit softer country, but not like to the point where it's like sleepy.
Yeah,
kinda, So yeah, that's what I'm kind of seeing with cocktail hour. It's like a really great opportunity to really, like with this couple specifically, they asked me like, can we send you a whole playlist for cocktail hour? Like, absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. Whatever you
yeah.
guys want to do. If you have, songs that you want me to play through and through for cocktail, send them, you
Yep.
know, and some people really do.
And cocktail hour, for the most part, is background music.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We still want you to be
Exactly.
able to have conversation and that, but we also want like vibes. Like we want it to be vibey. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
you don't. It's noise, so to speak, in the background, but we
Yep.
also want it to still set the tone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What I think is interesting about cocktail hour is because it's so background music, you really do have that like ability to play different songs,
Yeah.
not worry about being more popular. As opposed to dinner, I've felt like you have a lot of benefits to playing like My Girl Temptations and
Mhm.
everybody's singing at the table as
Right.
a unit, right? And
Yep.
that doesn't necessarily happen during cocktail hour. So cocktail hour is just a great space to play literally whatever you want with also being vibey, but like not too high of expectations of
Exactly.
or worry, you know?
So let's talk about maybe some genres during cocktail hour that you might think about. You know, if you're having a hard time
Yeah.
and you're trying to, you know, because I know we get a lot of couples that sometimes they're like, I don't even know, just do
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so here, we'll throw some out. You know, some neo soul is always great.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Acoustic pop, chill reggaeton. I think like chill house
Yeah.
can
Oh,
be
yeah.
great. That's in addition to like what we just been talking about, like the mainstream, like some of your country. I think is
Exactly.
Yeah.
during
But
that
like
time.
what's his name? Sam Morrill?
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
hitting
yeah.
right now, right?
Mhm.
And so you sprinkle in those artists, those like indie artists, Benson Boone.
I love
Exactly.
Afro.
Afro House.
Afro House
Yeah.
is great.
Yep.
Afro beats.
Afro
Afrobeats?
beats, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I also too like for dinner, and this could go cocktail as well. Like the more like softer rock, like we were saying, like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fleetwood
Some
Mac,
yacht rock.
Weezer was on
Yeah.
their list. Like
Nice.
just really cool, like fun songs where they like radiate happiness, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Totally.
like songs that make you happy. I feel like is really cool for cocktail hour because you're socializing. You got a drink in hand. You're eating little snacks.
Sugar
you're
Ray's playing in the back.
Exactly, right?
Totally.
You're like talking to
It's a vibe,
cousin,
yeah.
whoever that you haven't seen in forever. You're catching up, and it's just like a good vibe.
Definitely. Yeah.
I dig it. All right, so let's talk a little bit about dinner, dinner music.
Wait,
and
I just had a light bulb or something. This is an excellent opportunity to incorporate live musicians as well.
Yes.
Whether you're incorporating,
Yep.
with violinists, quartets, a live saxophonist. This is
Drummer.
an excellent drummer. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is an excellent spot to
That's a
add
great point.
that
Yeah.
spot of flavor.
Yep.
Just
I love that.
popped in my head.
Yep. Yeah, good advice there.
Thanks.
So let's talk about dinner a little bit. Very similar in some regards to cocktail hour.
I think it could be more strategic.
Right, and that's what I was
Yes.
going to say. I
Yeah.
think I tend to typically recommend, this is when you want some slower music, you have maybe some eclectic taste in music, the songs are a little bit slower, lower energy, like starting off with that at the early part of dinner.
Mhm.
And then once again, kind of working our way up to that cocktail hour vibes, almost to where we're getting to dance music. We're trying to prep you as we go through dinner.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to sit down for an hour and just listen to elevator music.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
You can't do
tired
that.
quick.
Don't put them to sleep. You're already eating.
Yep.
Yeah.
We don't want to put you to sleep. In fact, we want to start prepping you and getting you ready for
Yeah.
to turn up,
I
right?
agree. Yeah. One of the first weddings I ever did, kind of not knowing much, obviously, they were like, "Oh yeah, we have a playlist for dinner. Cool."
You're all great. I'll play it.
Yeah, everything they sent me was like we were at a, buka or Olive Garden,
Okay.
which wasn't bad.
I think it's great.
It did not work for this.
Mm.
Yeah.
The energy just
And-
was
and it-
to the floor.
It only
Yeah.
takes a few songs for
Yeah.
that because
Yep.
a lot of those tend to be like 3 to 5 minute long tracks.
Mhm.
And you
Exactly.
They're naturally really quiet
Yeah.
anyway, and so
Right.
it
Yeah.
just takes you down. But in that same like vein, when you walk into a space that's beautifully uplit, the candle and the centerpieces look nice, and you have a nice, soft,
Mhm.
elegant instrument playing, it really does feel like a fine dining restaurant.
Definitely.
And then like you were saying, you evolve into other love songs, high energy pop,
Yep.
or not high energy, but like it just starts to get there,
it
and
builds.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
It
it
builds.
builds.
Yeah.
But I also think that dinner is the perfect opportunity to do what you talked about earlier, Tony, and that's to throw in some anthems, some sing-alongs.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the My
Yeah.
Girls,
Yes.
Yeah.
the Hey Judes.
Mhm.
and stuff like that,
Yep.
where you can literally, and we've seen it. A whole table is standing up, singing, screaming, belting out a song together, right?
Closer, tiny dancer, right?
Yeah.
They're all
And
just
that
singing it.
in and of itself, it's a slow song, but you've now just created this
Yeah.
energy
This moment
in the
that
room,
they're
right?
gonna think back. Oh yeah, we were singing at the dinner table. It was so fun, right? And like those little pockets of memories are what stand out when they are unique versus like, oh yeah, the steak was bomb or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
And I've gone to playing like taking a page out of some other, DJ friends of mine and getting taking some risks with dinner. Number one, usually we'll grab a bite to eat, and I try to do that right away as soon as I can because I want to mix. I want to mix during dinner.
Yeah.
And try to throw a few things out there just to kind of get an idea of the vibe. So like I'll do some stuff like the original version of What a Man, like some older stuff, but like it's got a little bit of funk to it, I'm just looking at some past lists of things that I'll do.
Yeah.
The Electric Peanut Butter Company, Dreams. It's a Fleetwood Mac cover, but it's got like another funky style to it.
Oh, nice.
Mariah Carey, Always Be My Baby. Like throwing in like
Yeah.
the nostalgic stuff, right?
Yep.
But not only is it still it's dinner vibes, but it's gonna, and I'm not playing the entire track. So I'm like mixing verse in,
Yeah.
Exactly,
verse in,
yeah.
verse out.
But like you know what's hitting right now is "Love on the Brain," Rihanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Love, Keisha Cole.
There you
Yeah.
go. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. Definitely.
Mary J. I'll play Mary J. during that time. Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to get an idea, right? Like, because like if they're feeling those R&B vibes, then I know I could typically hit them with a little bit of hip hop later
yeah,
on, right?
Definitely.
Some stuff like that.
Definitely.
So I don't know. I'm always trying to use dinner. That's the closest time with music that we have to the open dancing.
Exactly.
And so I'm trying to get a read at that point. Like, because a lot of times with cocktail hour, we're not DJing it per se because it's like not in the same space and in the same room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dinner is typically close
bit more,
by or maybe sometimes in the same room as the
Yeah.
dance floor. So I don't know. I'm trying to really use that time in particular and pay really close attention.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely
Yeah.
trying to be strategic and
Definitely.
start slow, slowly build that kind of anticipation up and getting them hype with whatever songs that may be. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm a big fan of like what is it? Be Your Lover, Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what I've been
sounds so
playing
fun.
is Diamonds and Pearls during dinner.
Love
Oh,
that.
Prince.
okay. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's slower, but that one's like early on in dinner music for me.
For sure.
But I mean, all that stuff. Like we're kind of at when you think about dinner and the typical age group of our couples right now. So let's just say our average couple is still probably in their late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their parents are really probably about my age, a little bit older, so like mid 40s to 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the 80s for us.
Yeah.
And Prince and all of those, Mary
yeah.
J. and all those. That hits
Definitely.
the spot for the
Yep.
parents, right?
Definitely.
God, did I just call myself old?
You
Yeah,
might have.
I think you did.
Might have dated yourself.
My God, that's it.
Just a bit. Just a bit.
That's all good because I think that's an excellent point to have because at a wedding, it's not just one demo. It's not just one lane of people who
Right.
like music, right?
Exactly.
And we hear it all the time. Couples want to make sure everybody's enjoying themselves, and that
Yeah.
that means having a bunch of different styles of music. And stuff like
Definitely.
that.
Yep. Okay, so let's talk about like formalities here and like kind of big moments. So your grand entrance, first dance, that sort of thing.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I'm seeing grand intro into first dance almost every time.
Same.
We did that
Yep.
at the last one too.
It's very
Yep.
prominent.
Yeah, so we're seeing that a lot. So don't be afraid to do your, grand entrance into your first dance. Now, this is the most common, I guess, question or concern that I get from couples. Well, we're going from this high energy
Yeah.
song and into our first dance, which is really low energy.
Is that gonna feel weird? Or,
Right.
Yeah.
So what are you guys telling them?
I honestly tell them what it does is it catches your guests by surprise. They're not expecting this beautiful moment. All eyes are on you, and it's a really, really good way to not only be efficient with like photography and time, but it also is a fun wow factor for your guests as well.
Definitely.
So that's kind of what I would say. Like,
Yeah, and
it's-
I agree with that. I'm on the same line as you, and I think it really helps. Also, what I tell my couples is it really helps when we kind of knock those two out because after dinner, I've seen it time and time again. People aren't paying attention anymore.
Momentum's kind of
Moment is gone.
Well,
They're
and
like,
people are ready to
Yeah,
dance,
yeah.
right?
exactly. Yeah. So moment's kind of gone. Even with, speeches, I've seen it multiple times. They're like, hey, in the back, be quiet, because the attention span is this short, right? So we got to catch them when we can. And I just kind of tell my couples that, like, I love it because the moment is already on you.
Mm-hmm.
When we do the grand entrance, the moment is already on you.
Mm-hmm.
They're already focused on that, and then you go into your first dance, and they're like, "Oh, it's
right.
it's really special."
But
I think so
let's-
too.
What about this though? You got a venue like La Posada, Bishop's Lodge. It's pretty impossible to do it in those spaces. Would you think? Well, not Bishop's. You could do
Yeah.
because they've got the dance floor there.
Right.
But I'm thinking La Posada actually. That's like the big one because they have cocktail or ceremony, cocktail dinner, and then a whole different ballroom
Yeah.
for those formal dances. So
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be dependent, right? Like,
That's-
I mean, you're
yeah,
always
that's
going to have
kinda-
logistics.
it's kind of a
and things.
unicorn if you think
Yeah.
about it. There's
Exactly.
not a lot
Yeah,
of-
and then
gotta
and then
work
we
around.
see couples where they're like, "Well, we want to go to cocktail hour too, so like we don't even want to do a grand entrance.
Yeah.
We'll just join everybody. Everyone will walk in. We'll sit down, eat dinner, and boom."
That
you know?
is,
So-
I'm noticing that as well.
Me
Well,
too.
they will enter in to cocktail and then just mingle with the guests.
Yep.
And then just walk into dinner, not even do a grand intro.
Exactly.
Which is
Yeah.
interesting too. But
Yeah, and the only other thing I think I would say is, with a concern with us going into a slow song is we're going to be going into a slow song anyway. We're going into dinner.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Great
That's
point.
a great
you
point.
know,
yeah.
so I mean, this is a beautiful transition where you guys just hit it on the head. The focus is already on you.
Yep.
We've got everybody's attention. It knocks a bird out of the water, right? Like,
Yep.
and you don't have to worry
there's
about
so
it. Like,
many benefits.
Yeah, so many.
And most couples, that's the one moment that they're kind of almost dreading.
They wanna
or
get it over with.
They want to get it over with.
Exactly,
They're stressed
yeah.
about. So let's just do it. Let's do it right away. Let's get it out of the way, and then you can enjoy the rest of your night, and not be having to think about, oh my God, our dance, right?
Yeah.
So true.
And I've seen couples even knock out every dance before dinner.
What's
Yeah.
your take on that? I don't like it.
I do. I
Okay,
do. Yeah, I do
interesting.
like it. I think just
Fight,
for
fight.
I
hear
think
it.
just for, like we're saying, schedule time. It gives us more time to kind of get to that open dancing without so many formalities. And again, the attention is already there.
Totally.
And there's specific things that go into this. We don't do this every time, but I do like it. Like for, example, when I had the couple who had the couches and everyone was sitting and
yeah.
parents were already there. It's like, yeah, now is the time to do it because mom and dad are already sitting and you can
made
dance with your
sense.
parents.
It felt
just-
right.
Yeah,
It made
exactly.
sense, yes.
Yeah.
And there's times where it makes sense, and then there's times where it absolutely doesn't make sense. So
My only thing is guests are antsy and they're anxious.
Yeah.
And then when you're doing a grand intro with full wedding party, with then them, the couple, then their first dance, then the father-daughter, then the mother-son, then a welcome speech, then the blessing.
Yeah.
45 minutes has gone by and you're just the guests they've had a cocktail hour and now they've waited another 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But you are right in every way on that. Like couples at their core, they want to get to the party. So let's just knock all
Yeah.
that stuff out
Yeah.
and they often want to do it for a minute and a half.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They,
Yeah.
that because they want to do it right away, it's not as important or whatever.
Right.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and there's a lot of factors that go into it. Even like what you were saying with the wedding party, like I'm starting to see less and less. They don't even have that.
Yeah.
Wedding party doesn't even exist in the grand entrance anymore.
My
Yeah.
couple this weekend's
Yeah.
not doing mother, son, father, daughter dances. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
see?
it's literally
Yeah.
first dance.
Yep.
His daughter
Mhm.
is singing their first dance, and then we're into party mode. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you're right, though. There's a lot of logistics. So at the end of the day, I think
just figuring out what they want.
Exactly.
You know?
and then there's like, when is the meal being served? So like, okay, we can't do all of this stuff because the timeline doesn't allow for it. We've got to wait
Yeah.
and do
Exact-
those.
Food temperatures.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
So,
Definitely.
I've often said that those are like the only two things you can't like move around is
Yes.
food temps and sunset.
Yeah.
So those are like your only like everything else can pretty much be.
Yeah,
moved
and that's what I
around.
appreciate. Like when you have a good planner, is that's
Who
already
knows that?
set in stone.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when I worked with Carrie, she, had that already ready for the catering staff. They knew that once she was done dancing with Dad and we released them, then they served the food, right? So it was kind of like everything was pre-planned for that one. They
Right.
didn't have a wedding party; it was just them. Then they went to their straight into their first dance.
Nice.
Parents were on those couches. It was kind of it worked for
It
that
worked
space.
that space.
And then, we had a great planner who had great communication with the staff, with me, weeks, months, year before we had a
Wow.
plan on what we wanted to do.
That was Carrie, you said?
Yeah.
Shout outs to Carrie,
Yeah.
Carrie Osborne.
Carrie
Carrie
Osborne.
Osborne, yep. She was great. And, we just, it worked for that specific,
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep it going now. We've gone through ceremony, cocktail hour, dinner.
Grand entrance.
We've done some of the formalities.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're opening up the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
Party time.
Okay, it's party time.
Woo, woo.
So let's talk a little bit about that. And, when you're thinking about music and your DJ is asking you to give them a playlist, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we mentioned this as a little teaser earlier on, some things you may want to think about. For me personally, I honestly don't care how big their playlist is that they give me. It's just information for me.
Mhm.
So I think at the end of the day, you've hired typically your DJ. I know for sure our couples that hire us, they hire us because they've seen us before or they've heard about us. They trust us. They want us to rock their dance floor and they want their guests to have an amazing time, right?
Yep.
But I also want to get their input. Like, I
Yeah.
want to know what you're into.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and so in many ways, the bigger the playlist you give me, almost the better, because then I can like read into that, or I can pick and choose, kind of
Mhm.
different songs that are going to be like the surprises, the surprise drops to give the wow moments,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Now, I think there's a difference between giving me a playlist that's 300 songs long and giving me a must playlist that
Yes.
is 300 songs long.
Absolutely.
That's not doable.
It's
No,
just
that
not possible.
yeah, no.
Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
mathematically, like
right.
Yeah.
my rule of thumb, I think I've said it in the past, but is 30 songs an hour. If I'm going crazy fast, I can maybe get 35 songs
Yeah,
in an hour.
Definitely.
But like, you just can't hear a song fully and enjoy it, at least even half of it.
Exactly.
And play 60, 100 songs or whatever. But I like, you're right, digging through the playlist. But one thing I found was they had a couple gave me a song, 300 playlist request list, right?
Mhm.
We maybe danced for 2 hours. And I had plenty of songs that were on that playlist that I didn't play. They had an after party in the fireplace room right next door so I could hear all of this. They just threw the Spotify playlist and that was fine. But what I recognized was they loved Down, Jay Sean, Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I would have played that no problem. That would have been such a moment, but they didn't like tell me that was like a must play.
Yeah.
And that's not against them, but when you're digging through 300 songs, like the party was still fantastic.
Yes.
Needle in a haystack, right?
Yeah.
It gets very oversaturated
that's where I
because
was
it's information overload,
Yeah.
like we're saying. Like,
And it was still good. It was really, really good party. But I'm like, I would have loved to play that one for
Exactly,
y'all. You would have liked it.
exactly.
That would have been fun, And so that
Yep.
was like the one thing where I was like, dang. But honestly, it's not that big of
Yeah.
a deal
yeah.
because the party still rocked and they
Exactly.
loved it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's always a huge difference between just like a playlist and must play. I feel like must play too is kind of more like you almost want me to be Spotify and
Yeah.
not let me kind of put flair on things and maybe take, these 3 artists and you might like these ones and kind of mix and match. It kind of puts, the DJ in a box a little bit.
Yeah.
So
And my take's a little bit different because I feel like the things that you should concentrate on with a must play are those songs that they've got some kind of meaning, right? So like
Yeah.
maybe it's
Well,
a
as long as-
sorority
Yeah,
song.
I don't want it to be like 100 must plays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe like 10.
And that's what I'm saying.
exactly.
When I think of a must playlist, and this is what my advice would be to couples, don't give me 300 must play songs. It's not possible. I need these are literally like the 3, 4, or 5 songs that we have
Yes.
to hear because it's
Yes.
got some kind of meaning. Like I said, it's like
Right.
this is a song that we sing at our sorority or whatever. Or in my family, I've gotten this a bunch. Our family, we always play this at every wedding. It's like a tradition,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so things like that, no problem. then the rest of it, that's where you're right. Like
Yeah.
let me cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
like that's
absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
what. Let me read your group. Let me read your crowd. Let me take you on this journey that is unique, and I'm curating and creating the soundtrack that is unique to tonight,
Yeah.
to this
Yeah.
group.
With all that said, we're having conversations with the couple of their interests. Let me take your interests and cook with
Exactly.
your interests.
Honestly,
Exactly.
that list, that's why I don't mind the
Yeah.
300 song list, because that's my baseline.
Yeah.
That's what I'm building on. Those are my ingredients
Yeah.
Yes.
right?
Yep.
to making this amazing, to cook in here this
Yeah.
amazing musical meal for you.
Some of my
Exactly, yeah.
favorites are when you kind of have to trust your, like, so I've had like a guy or like a gentleman come up and say, hey, play this song. We used to listen to this song in the locker room and it would go crazy. And I was like, I'd listen to the song and I'd be like, this is the song, you guys? I
Yeah.
can't remember what it was, but it wasn't like
Yeah.
the most football. It had me worried. I
Yeah.
had the red flags going, and he was like, just trust me, bro. And it wasn't the groom. It was just a random guest. It wasn't even a groomsman. And I
Oof.
was like, all right, well, I got something in my back pocket if this fails and I have to spin out.
Yeah.
I'll get something and it'll work out. And sure enough, I played it. It worked out. So sometimes trusting the crowd can work out.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I've definitely been on the other end where they asked me to play
The bride
a song.
loves this. This is her favorite song.
Clears.
Not anywhere on the list.
The bride came up and was like, "What are you playing?" And I was like, "I am so sorry. It is that's my
Yeah.
that's my role. I shouldn't have
Exactly.
listened to this guy, but I've trusted him. He made it seem like
yeah,
you and your mom and your sisters love this." And
yeah.
I
Yeah.
kicked myself for that.
You
Yeah.
told me you sing this in the shower every night.
Yeah.
For
No.
real though, so it's kind of like on both
Yeah.
ends. Be careful, but you can't trust them sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, no, definitely.
But also, I think this is a good example of like, don't be afraid to ask your guests, what do you want to hear on my wedding day? Like, your interests should be up there.
Exactly.
But a lot of guests want to make sure that their friends and family are having fun. So
Definitely.
what does that look like? What I always say for our guests with our Vibo app, let us make you a code, a QR code, and something above it or below it that'll say, I will dance if the DJ plays this song.
Exactly.
That's incredible information that helps us out really understand like what's going to get them out there. And also too, if there's something in there that's like, oh God, please do not play R. Kelly, or
Exactly,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yes,
Like if
yep.
Ignition's in there and then you're like, oh no, we can go through that. And it's just really helpful to
Definitely.
get an insight on what your guests want to dance to as well. But like, of course, this is your day.
Yeah.
If we're feeding you on the dance floor, they're only going to gravitate towards you. So that's kind of a
Exactly.
benefit
Right.
as well.
No,
Yeah.
and actually that leads us to, what I was going to go into next, which is the do not play list. And I would definitely, if you've got do not play songs that for whatever reason remind you of an ex, whatever, or you're
Yep.
not feeling R. Kelly,
Just whatever you don't want.
they're
Exactly.
they're canceled in your life, Diddy, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I'm noticing a lot of, I want to get away from your stereotypical wedding tracks, right?
Yep.
And so
That's
your
what we're seeing a lot.
Septembers, your celebrations, Uptown Funks, a lot of couples
I'm
are,
seeing a lot of Bruno cancellations.
I don't
Same
want to
here.
hear what I hear at every wedding. That's my do not play.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, but what about Get Low? Oh, we love Get Low. What about Dancing Queen? Oh, we love Dancing Queen.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like
But yeah, you just dive in, and yeah, I think that's a big trend on what's
well, and I
being
think that's like a hard thing too, because what might be basic to you might not be basic to others.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like also too, you have to, like you're saying, take your guests into consideration. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, you might hate Justin Bieber, but trust me, when we play Baby or Somebody to Love, every single person in that room is going to be singing that
True.
song.
You know what's crazy is they don't even understand that they will too. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard
Yeah.
I
for
think they hate
for
it, but
couples.
in that moment.
You can't put yourself
Mhm.
in the state that you're going to be in at that moment on the dance floor,
Exactly.
which is typically inebriated, loving life,
Yeah.
having a great time with your family and friends, and it doesn't matter what the DJ plays, you're going to love it and sing it,
Yeah,
even though if
definitely.
Well,
you
chances
might
are
hate
too,
it.
you're already vibing to the song beforehand if you're on the dance floor, right?
Exactly.
And then the DJ brings in a track that you maybe aren't as confident with or don't feel, but
it's
you were
not your
already
favorite.
there, and
Yeah.
you're like,
Like, oh
babe,
yeah, I love this song.
yeah, you see everybody else going. It's just it's infectious. You know what I
Herd
mean?
mentality, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
absolutely.
there's a lot of science to like those songs, and of course we want to make sure we're playing the do not plays, but like
And I really do
Trust
feel
us.
like I am huge on this philosophy. Whatever energy you bring is the energy your guests are going to have.
Totally.
oh yeah,
Like I like saw this with two brides that I DJ'd for in Santa Fe. Like there was some stuff on their list where I was kind of like, I'm not sure how this is gonna go over. But they had such good energy
Didn't
that their
matter.
guests didn't want to leave. They wanted to be in that moment with them.
Yeah.
They wanted to be the ones also vibing with them in that moment. So that also, has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, I think that's something couples should take away from like this overall podcast is that your energy and your type of mindset that you bring during your wedding day is going to be reflected and almost like people are going to feed off of that. So whether
Exactly.
you're a nervous mess, stressed,
Yep.
or control freak or whatever, I don't want to make it sound bad, or if you're on the other end having a great time, people
That's what I was gonna say. It's the positive and the negative energy.
Exactly.
If you're bringing the negative energy, your night's probably going to end early, or it's not going to end the way you want, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're bringing nothing but positivity, I had a night where that came, like it felt like a hurricane came through the place, ruined the entire dinner. Like this beautiful tent outside, they couldn't use any of it. They had to just quick set up tables inside for dinner, and the couple was so like, that's all right. We're all good. Let's eat and then
Yep.
let's party, right?
Yep.
And it was an amazing night, and they probably have an experience that they still talk about to this day.
Definitely.
Remember that hurricane that came through? Oh
Yeah.
my God, we partied so hard.
Yep,
And it was
exactly.
all because of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like they set the tone from the get go with that. It
Yeah.
was they turned lemons into lemonade.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
And it's
yeah.
it's all into like this big event. All of this planning, everything
Yep.
goes into it. And I can understand the stress and like responsibility you feel that you have for these guests in this event. But yeah, if you can come in with a more positive mindset, relaxed, you're gonna have an overall better time. This is a celebration of
Yeah.
love, and
Exactly,
this is
yeah.
a time to
control what you can control,
Yeah.
and you can control
So
your
that-
vibes
yeah,
and feelings.
exactly.
so true.
Exactly.
So yeah, we all want to have that Instagram, TikTok worthy wedding and be on
Yep.
TV and all that. But at its core, if you had the wedding for yourself, it's gonna feel like a TikTok
Exactly.
wedding.
Right.
Or
Definitely.
what, I don't know
Yeah.
what I mean. By
No,
TikTok
no,
wedding,
yeah,
but
no. I definitely,
big weddings.
yes, I understand what you mean. And yeah, even at that, like in some of these moments, maybe the crowd has died down. There's not as many people, but say our bride and groom, our brides, our groom and groom, whoever's out there,
Yeah.
they just have such this beautiful, infectious energy that those 10 people are like literally turning.
still
up.
fun.
It's so fun,
Yeah.
and I love that.
All right, we don't have a lot of time left here, but I want to get to this too, and personalizing the music experience. So let's talk about incorporating culture.
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
example, I know the three of us have worked many Latino weddings.
Well, it's the
Yep.
famous question. Can you play more Spanish music?
Yep.
Okay. Well, what is that?
Yeah.
What,
Yep.
what kind of? Yeah.
Hey, we want
be
salsa.
anything.
We want salsa. Like Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
But I hate that when they tell us, "Can you play some more Spanish music?" And you're like, "Okay, is it reggaeton? Is it
Right, we-
merengue?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah, and then
exactly.
or they'll tell you, we want
Guapangos.
We want Mexican, right? We want
Yeah.
Mexican music, and I'm like, well, New Mexican, like El Hurricane?
Yeah.
No. Okay, like banda?
Yeah.
No. Like Los Tigres and stuff. Okay, we want rancheras and stuff.
Yes.
Okay, like
Yeah.
And they know what they want. It's
They
a very
know.
specific sound, and but this is, you're right, a great way to incorporate the culture for a lot of couples who
Exactly.
maybe are from the East Coast, West Coast. They don't hear this sound all the time.
But
Exactly.
if you're really specific, so like when we start breaking it down, especially like so the Spanish music is this way, Indian music, East Indian music
Oh,
is
yeah.
also this way,
It is.
where you've got these subcultures and subgenres, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I would suggest: if you've got an ethnic wedding, you need to help your DJ out. This is where you need to give
Yes.
him a list. I'll usually ask
Yeah.
my couples, give me the top 10 bangers
Yep.
of Indian music, like
Get
you know,
specific. I
like
need
Bol-
the specific
Bollywood-
links.
Yeah. You want Bollywood? Give me 10 Bollywood tracks that your family is definitely going to love and dance.
Yep.
Mhm.
dance
Exactly.
to. And then I can do the rest. I
Yeah.
can mix it
Yeah.
in. I can play with it. I can find some other stuff, right?
Yep.
I have
But
that music brain to like understand timing, phrasing, and like, okay, lyrics should come in now and all
Exactly.
that. But
Yeah.
But if there's so much music out there, it's often in a different language, and
Mm.
it can sound like there's certain like house music. House music sounds the same to a lot of people, right?
Mhm.
But Fisher and Dom Dalla are completely different people.
Yeah,
You can't explain that to somebody, and that's the same idea with these different
I
genres
agree
of
with
music.
that. Yep.
So that's where, yes, getting specific in that area can really, really benefit you.
Definitely.
Whether it's artists, song playlists, links. I have a couple who were like, we've got a DJ buddy. He DJs all of our events, but we want you. And I collaborated with him. He gave me his crates and all that.
Cool.
Yeah. So it's just
See, there you go.
yeah, it was very helpful when they
Dope.
were able to give me specific links on like what they
Exactly.
wanted and got down to those. Because yeah, culturally, there's a quite the range.
Exactly.
So Victoria, I'm going to ask you because you're involved in this community. You know the LGBTQ plus couples.
Mhm.
Is there anything or any advice like that you would give, like when approaching those weddings and working with those couples, like what they should do, like music wise or playlist wise?
You know, happy Pride to everyone.
Yeah,
you know,
we're in
yeah,
we're in
yep.
Pride
There we
Month,
go.
right?
You know,
That's right.
you know, I'm gonna make a little joke here, but I always say, like, even when I talk to my LGBTQ plus couples, I say we got taste. Like, they know what they want, and it's like
Yeah, baby.
just so specific. But as far as that, like, I know, like. So these weddings are very different because the community is so tight knit with their people.
Mhm.
So they already know what their people like. They know what everyone's going to dance to. They just have this like really good sense of what they want in terms of open dancing for the dance floor. But like typically what I'm seeing with a lot of my couples, which is really, really cool. And I was actually talking about this couple earlier. So they wanted a song by Beyonce off of her new album, the Cowboy Carter album, which
Okay.
is country. I didn't know how it was going to go. The album was still very, very fresh and new, but it's kind of like they just have like a specific, you know, knowing almost of like, I know my crowd's going to like this. My people are listening to this right now. And like, you know, my only advice, I don't know if I really have any for that, you know, specific, you know, group of people, because when I talk to them and ask them, you know, in our initial meetings and stuff, like what their vision is, they already have a vision beyond, right? In terms of music, in terms of culture, you know, of course, you know, lots of Britney Spears, lots of.
That's what I was gonna say.
Lady
Like I
Gaga,
feel like there's a
yes.
lot of specific
Yes.
artists, right?
Yes.
Cher is up in there.
Cher, yep.
You know, like there's specific songs and artists. Like they tend to be pretty specific when it comes to that sort of
Exactly.
stuff.
Yep.
But like the vibes are always like happy, high energy vibes. Like those
Exactly.
weddings are just like so much fun, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I was gonna say. Like the music, there really isn't a like downtime. Like there even
Oh,
even
it's party.
exactly.
through.
Even if we're
Yeah.
gonna play something off of Beyonce's country album, it's the fastest, most involved song ever, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like very upbeat. But yeah, I see just a lot of the same. You know, again, playing with emotion. You know, a lot of Britney Spears, a lot of Cher. Carly Rae Jepsen is someone
Yeah.
we see. You know, things like that, or you know, lots of Lady Gaga, of course, like kind of things like that. And yeah, it's just really interesting, you know, that side of the community, what we like and what really plays to our emotions and what gets us going.
Yeah.
I've always
So-
felt like it's truly like even with the wedding, but it's like it's such a celebration of love. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like
definitely.
these two people are in love with each other, and that's what it's about. Versus like, oh, I got to go to my cousin's wedding because he's getting married. Like
Definitely.
standard. You
It's
know what I mean?
It is a little bit different, and when you think about it, it shouldn't be, right? But
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
honestly, like
True.
to look at where we're at in that community now from where we were even just 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like it
Mhm.
wasn't legal, like literally, like they
Yeah.
couldn't get married.
Yeah.
You know, so I think you're right. You've hit it on the head. Like they
I
feel
agree.
like there's like this just a complete overtone of love with everybody that's there, because you know everybody that's at those
Yes.
weddings, right? So it's a little bit different than like your typical wedding. I feel like everybody at an LGBTQ wedding is there in love and in support,
Yes,
right?
yep.
Whereas you can have a Hispanic wedding and have two families that hate each other.
Yeah.
Exactly.
in the same room together.
Exactly. Yeah,
It
no,
is
definitely.
true.
Yeah, no, and you can
know?
Really good point.
totally feel it. Yeah, that is such a good point, Tony, because you can literally feel it. Like it is so much different than just like your typical, like
yeah.
it really feels like a huge moment, which it is, right?
Yeah,
Because you were saying,
totally.
like 10 years ago, we couldn't even
couldn't do
get
this.
married. We couldn't do this. So when you do these weddings, it really is very, very special. And, I know like a lot of us in that community are very silly. And we, with one of my couples, we played the theme song to Vanderpump Rules.
Fun.
Every single person in there was singing it.
Love that.
And it was so funny. Like, and
Yeah.
it's not even a song
awesome.
that's like upbeat or anything.
But it creates those moments.
Yeah, and they
you
were
know?
like, "We want a gag," and that's the gag. And I'm like, "Okay, cool." You
That's
know what I
fun.
mean? So
Yeah.
I love it, and
Yeah.
and it's like little things like that where like, I appreciate my couples that I work with because they just are very very specific, and it works for like me and it works for them. We
Right.
kind of have like an understanding of each other and what music we like and what really plays to our emotions and how we want people to feel, and it's really incredible.
Definitely.
And I think along those lines, with all of these different types, Latino, East Indian, Asian, Vietnamese weddings, LGBTQ, like everybody deserves to have a party.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Like plain and simple. Okay, so last thing I think before we get out of here, let's talk about like some common mistakes when it comes to music with all these different areas that we've been talking about. Some things maybe what not to do. So what is there anything that you guys can think of that are some common mistakes you see couples make when they are thinking about their music?
Definitely. One that I see is a lot of couples are dead set on what they like and what they like only.
Yeah.
And sometimes this really works well because, your family really knows that that's just you and they're going to vibe with you. And sometimes it really is a vibe killer because not everyone likes, super headbanging EDM or, these type of things. So,
Well, I think a DJ's nightmare, right, is to see
yeah.
a playlist that is nothing but 90s, 2000s hip hop and R&B,
Like one
and you
genre.
walk into a room full of cowboy hats and cowboy boots.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like, I mean,
Yep.
yeah. Yep.
right? Like you just got,
Exactly. Yeah.
and they tell you absolutely we hate country.
Yeah, I was telling my assistant
Yeah.
that the other day. I was like, we have no country requested, and they don't want any, but take a look around. Guaranteed, I need to
Yeah.
play at least one or two. 'cause
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a problem.
And it happens. Yeah. And I think that's like one of the biggest mistakes that I see is like, we're dead set on this. Do not know, absolutely no country, no Latin, no this, no that. And you take a look around, you're like, well, there's a lot of Latinos in here.
And I
Yeah.
see a lot of
cowboys,
Yeah, it's
you
like
know?
these are a lot of eyebrows that are drawn on.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
We are definitely in Albuquerque.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of homies up in here. Like,
A
Yeah.
lot of
I better
homies.
play some Kid Frost.
Yeah, no, and it really
That's funny.
it's so interesting, and I'm all about that. But this goes back to everything we were saying from the beginning. Add your taste in where you can get away with it,
Yeah.
right? Add a little
Mhm.
flair here and there, cocktail, whatever. But really for the open dance, I would say kind of have consideration for others. Even though I understand it's your wedding, it's your day, do what you want, no matter what, at the end of the day. We're not here to tell you not to do that. But
Mhm.
also, if you want to have a party like you say you do, then maybe we should take into consideration who you invited, what they like as well, and
Yep.
why some of these tracks that you might think are a little basic or cliche really work.
Yeah.
That's what I think it's managing expectations, right?
Yep.
So if you expect, and this is typically, I think, we see a common theme of people come in, we just want our guests to have a great time, an amazing experience,
Yeah.
best night ever, right?
But they're only listening to the music that I like.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then that's where,
Mhm.
right, like, so you've got to be, and that's where I think we come into play. Like, I
Mhm.
think a great DJ, a great planner, people around you will be able to help you manage those expectations. And okay, so if we do this, let me just play you this song, and this is what it's going to feel like, right? And I think a lot of times you have to put them in those scenarios for them to like kind of understand and see like, okay, maybe you're right. Like,
Yeah.
that's not, or that doesn't sound, or this isn't going to go as I thought it's going to play out.
Yep.
That's where our experience comes into play to help you out with that, because you're right. Like if we were, and it took me one time. It happened. It was early on in my DJ career. I had a couple that said, "Hey, we had a bad DJ in the family before. We've got a laptop that's got the playlist. We just want you to play it
Yep.
straight down." And I was like, "Oh, easy money. Like I don't have to do anything."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that night, lo and behold, here come the requests. "Hey, can we play some of this?" "No, sorry, I'm just playing this laptop. It's not mine."
Yeah.
Oh, and then guess what time people left at? It
Yep.
was like 8:30.
Yep.
Yep.
Like that night was done. They literally sabotaged their own night. But then it made me think. I was like, this is stupid. You dummy. Like, because everybody's looking at me.
Yeah.
Like I was the
Yeah.
one that was killing the
Yep.
party.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, and that's like kind of the unfortunate thing. I think this
take-
happens to all of us.
yeah.
We take the heat for everything that happens.
you're the face of it.
Yeah, if people aren't dancing, everyone's like,
Yeah.
you need to play better
Right.
music.
Yeah.
You know?
And-
It's one of those things.
And it was
Yeah.
bride and groom's just playlist and no mixing or any of that. And it was just for all the reasons we talked about earlier in this episode.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
why having a great DJ, it really does matter.
It's
Definitely.
so hard to what am I trying to say? It's hard to help people understand that this song maybe won't go exactly the way you think it is. And they think they are top tier request maker. Oh, I know what's going to get them going.
Yep.
And then you're like, I don't know, man. This isn't going to work. But
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just trying to paint that
Or they
picture.
come up and they're like, "This one's gonna get all the people out there," and then I just point to the dance floor. Dude, all the people are already out
there.
Like,
Yeah.
Ah.
What are you not? What are you?
It's the worst.
What am I missing here?
you're the
Yeah.
only one that's over here.
Yeah.
Everybody's already out there.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
most hated line is, "Can you play something we can
And
dance to?" It's like,
yeah.
what? And everybody's on the dance
Yeah,
floor, and you're like, "Are you
exactly.
kidding me?"
Yes.
I'm sorry, Becky, but everybody else is dancing right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
But no, I would say my big worry or try to avoid is not taking into the consideration the type of vibe you want to create in these specific moments.
Mm-hmm.
If you're playing dubstep during your ceremony, that's going to hit very differently. So
Yeah. Definitely.
yeah, just really making sure that you're taking to consider what kind of vibe you want to create during those
Yeah.
times. And don't be afraid to allow requests from your guests. I think they
Definitely.
do give a lot of good insight. Us as the DJs do have the ultimate kind of say on what's played and what's not, but they can give you a lot of really good insight day of that you may not
Yeah.
prepare for at all, but then they give you a song that is one of their favorites.
Yep.
Yep. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
And I would say, a common mistake is just to over curate, on your part. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and giving, like I said, a must play 300 playlist.
It's helpful to have a bag, but don't overstress making yourself
Exactly.
filling it with so much
So
music,
much.
'cause then
yeah.
it's
I think ideally you're going to give me your must plays. I would say on average that tends to be no more than 10 songs, so that's
Yeah.
fine. And then talking generalities with your DJ, right? Like what genres do you like? What stuff?
Yeah,
So that and
yeah.
that's we love
favorite
2000s
artists.
hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we like the 90s pop punk, like
Yeah.
Blink 182, Mr. Brightside. Give some specifics in that way.
Mhm.
We can't stand country, all right? Okay.
Oh.
But we like Copperhead Road,
yeah.
Yes.
We can play that one.
Do you like line dances?
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
hate them, but make sure
Yeah.
you play the Cupid Shuffle.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
things. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So getting specific in those ways, like where it's like not overbearing, but you're giving direction to your DJ. And I think really that, and then again, just let them cook. Let it, a great,
Trust them.
Yeah.
a great DJ. I mean, I'm always going to tell you, and for new couples that are just new into this, if you don't know a great DJ, vet them. All right, use your planners, use your event coordinators. Definitely go and check out those reviews on them. If they aren't putting and posting, and today in 2025, if you are a DJ and you're not posting content and putting it online, I'm sorry, it's a red flag.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yep.
There's too many of us out there that are now doing it, and you can vet
We all
your
have
DJ in that way.
phones,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's so
Yep.
easy to put any kind of
Yeah,
content.
and if they don't want to put content out there, there's a reason.
There's a reason
not
why.
serious about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a reason why.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not good enough to be a professional DJ right now and say, "Oh, I just don't have time," or "I don't have somebody," or "I don't do social media."
You need to have
Like,
something.
Yeah. Something.
all right. I think we're gonna put a bow on this one. Anything?
Good episode.
Anything else you guys would like to add?
No.
No, I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think it was a good episode.
Yep.
Good episode. Hope hope you guys enjoyed it. We'd love to hear from you all. So if you've got some comments out there, throw them in. Thanks to you that have been commenting. I've actually been responding to a few of those.
Yeah.
We've got some
Nice.
planners out
Yeah.
there. I know Taylor Fail. Big shouts to Taylor and Lace and Bow. She's been commenting on some of our episodes and watching out there.
Nice.
So
Oh, yeah.
we appreciate you. I think Talitha commented on one
I'm
of them
working with
too.
Taylor this weekend.
Nice.
Yeah.
So excited.
So, anyways, and we got to get some more of you back out here onto the show as guests. So
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
hit us up too if
Get
you want to
some
come
in.
on. And
Yeah.
Godspeed to all your events out there.
Yeah.
Later.
What's on the playlist?